Hey everybody. So I'm back for another review of Love After Lockup, season 6, episode 8, Wife or Warden. If you're watching this, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Um, Sorry, I had to do reports today and everything else. I gotta start writing them. So I'm going to get through this. I have had quite the week, but I'm sure y'all aren't interested. I mean, not in this video. Okay. So I'm going to get straight to it. All right, y'all. I hate to do this. I hate to do this. I hate to do this, but I feel like it needs to be said. But it just, I'm in a different place because the siren in my hallway has been going off. Don't worry. When they sent me my lease renewal, I said I will not be returning. Nevertheless, let's see. Alexis and Julius, and I hate to do this. Just know it's coming from a place of concern and less judgment. Okay. All right. So Alexis and Julius wake up. I'm not trying to be mean, but that looked like a full size. That's not what I was doing that for. You'll know when I get there. I'm not trying to be mean, but that looked like a full size bed. A full size bed is a little too small for the both of them. Was I the only one to notice that? Because a full size bed to me is like fine if you spend the night at somebody's house or something like that real quick, like when you're traveling, and then you're okay. But like to be your bed, not to share it with somebody. All right. Anyway, so she asked him about a delivery job. I think a job is an appropriate conversation for a man who does not have one but is living on your dime. Okay. And he was like, "Oh, a delivery boy." And she was like, "That's a good job." He was like, "Nobody wants to do that forever." Maybe not. But you need a job. It's something about that ghetto mentality I cannot fucking stand. I cannot stand that. I can't stand that not earning shit, but also at the same time, but expecting to get all the perks of life immediately. Like they miss this kind of work ethic. And I know I talk about that a lot because I believe in that. And granted, it's all a wash at this point. It doesn't matter. You can be the most, not even mediocre, just substandard worker and run the Pentagon. Catch. You can do it drunk. You can send out your text messages to everybody. But I'm just that get it quick. I deserve this. Like you haven't been in jail. Like what the fuck? Like seriously, what the fuck? But there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people like him, even that haven't been in jail. Anyway, he said he likes getting fast money. I bet. We all love fast money. You can work hard your whole life and not get it. So I understand. I just think it's dumb if you don't want to go back to jail. So he's one of those people whose mindset hasn't changed. He's in that group with Michael. Okay? He's in that same group. So she's saying she's stressed. She's telling him this to his face. She's stressed because the money has been tight. She's having trouble paying the rent. I wanted to say like a lot of people in America, but maybe her stress about rent is because he's been eating all of it. Anyway, her car note and this, that, and the other. And basically, this boy is also eating her out of the house at home because we all know men eat a lot, but especially young men, like that 16 to 28 range, which he is in, they eat a lot. My brother was like that. The difference is he grew like 6'3", like, so his weight stretched. I was just, chunky. And anyway, but you know, he got to be eating her out of house and home. And if he's smoking weed and stuff, you can forget it. You know, he's going to be eating snacks and everything else. Anyway, so he's waiting, trying to get this rap career to take off. When I heard that, it's, we all hear the stories of, usually our legendary rappers, of how people didn't believe in them, so on and so forth. And we know that happens. Somebody can blow up when everybody doubted them, this, that, and the other. But for every story like that, I'm sure there are at least 10,000 stories where everybody goes, see, I told you, because it really didn't pop off. You know what I mean? And because it's just, at this point, rap, first of all, the fact that his goal is to be a rapper is already some corny shit. It just is. It is. He's waiting for his rap career to take off. First of all, you live in Ohio. Just let it marinate. Just take it how you want. Okay. That all right. Two, I don't ever remember loving hip hop in Cleveland, Cincinnati, Toledo. I just don't remember one. Maybe there was one, and maybe it was on YouTube, and I just never saw it. I don't remember one. Okay. Number two, rap artists do not make money the way some of them used to. We know about the Jay-Z's, we know about the Kendricks, and even Kendrick came into the game where rap was still, because of the changing uh, capitalist system, right? Whereas music companies were always cheating black people out of their money. I mean, from the 20s, but also that lack of artist development, so on and so forth, not really taking a chance on people. Kendrick was in that era, and like, yes, has blown up, but I'm just saying, even that's rare, right? So anyway, rap artists don't make the money the way they used to. You think you're gonna be making millions off some single. All of this streaming and record companies picking and choosing who they think they can market immediately, which is why some people have these sort of automatic fame careers because they look at them and see something marketable. Rihanna is a production of that. And I like Rihanna, but Rihanna, like, at a talent show, she wouldn't even win. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, real talent. If you was like real singers, but she was pretty, she had like a Caribbean thing going on, and they could market her and package her. That I don't care what y'all say. Y'all can get mad at me all you want. That rapper named Lotto. Like, there's a whole lot of people. I love Cash Doll. I like Cash Doll, but I know she ain't bringing in the numbers that even a man would make. I'm not saying it's not discriminatory. I'm just saying it's kind of like, even if you're good at it, it's got to be a side hustle. Anyway, so yeah, he's chasing pipe dreams. Okay, I'm sorry. You do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. Shout out to the great debaters. All right, so she doesn't have a lot of time with him because he always wants to go spend time with his friends. She put a tracker, the air tag on her car. That was the part that caught me. On your car. Why is he driving your fucking car anyway? Let his friends pick him up. Who he's spending all his time with while you talk about how you lonely. Let them do that. Are you going back to work already? I hope so, because she didn't she take a few days off. Well, I mean, she ain't taking no leave or nothing. Speaking of leave. Anyway, question. How does he have money for studio time? Y'all know studio time is not cheap. Okay, sorry, y'all. So my question is, like, studio time is not cheap. There's a reason why a lot of people sold drugs before I'm sorry, before they were able to become rappers. I hate to be mean like that, but I'm just saying. So I'm presuming you've given him the money. That's an unnecessary expense. That's not a true investment. Okay? He needs you, Alexis, for a place to stay. Because his so-called friends that he spent all his time with and his family are unwilling to house him. Like I said, that was a red flag anyway when none of them ever went to go visit him. His sister had a baby. Sure. In 6 years, they never went to see him once. That should tell you a lot. Okay, so she's talking about how she's been nauseous and her friend comes over. And her friend is a good friend. And takes a pregnancy test. She was like, well, you need to at least know. Her pregnancy test is positive. She said she knows she's going to have to make some sacrifices to make everything work. That already hit me. I was like, baby girl. And when I say I'm not talking about because she's having a baby. Everybody has to make sacrifices when there's a baby, right? Because it's not about you. Like, there's this tiny little life that needs everything from you. I'm talking about, I felt like when she said that, she was saying she's going to have to make sacrifices to make it work with her and Julius. And I was like, see, this ain't going to go good. And it's going to be a stressful pregnancy. And babies can feel that. Y'all know that, right? Y'all know in West African tradition, you could not have sex with your wife 2 months, okay, after having a baby, which is what they call advanced medical knowledge in the West, and people have been doing that. Just so you know. But they also believe that you were not supposed to argue with the mother or fight with the mother when she's pregnant, because they said that then the child will come out with issues that they had nothing to do with. And that's still true. And these so-called doctors have figured that out now. Those people have been saying that. Anyway, so she says she thinks a baby will be good for her. She says she'll never be lonely and will always have somebody who loves her unconditionally. And I was like, this is sad. This is sad. But it's real, because there are a lot of young girls or young women or women, grown women, who have babies for that exact reason. Or choose, to not use protection because they're willing to have a baby because they just want somebody to love them. And yeah, they will, but you also have to learn how to love effectively to teach them appropriate ways, because the affection is always for you. What will happen is the child will learn how to be loyal to you and be disloyal to him or herself, because you never taught them what they were supposed to receive from other people. Okay? Her friend was very reasonable and supportive. She's a friend, not like Julia's sister who introduced her to his sorry ass. They get dressed to pull up on him at the studio. First of all, already having to do all these pull-ups. You too young, too in charge of your finances and everything else to have to be worrying about that, okay? Julius is not at the studio. According to the tracker, he's instead at a store called Vengeance. I don't know what the hell it is. Okay, so she pulls up, and it looks like 8 people getting in and out the car. Believable, okay? And she rolls up like asking, who are these girls? Her friend is being interviewed. She was just like, I hope I don't have to fight today. I can tell Alexis isn't taking care of herself, and that this relationship is, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, honey. Because when you pulled up, you look like you weren't put together. You look like you threw on something from the back of your drawer that you hadn't worn in years, just threw it on, didn't iron it, threw on the shirt, and felt like, well, okay, well, I had braids in my hair, I'll be good. It looked sloppy. It looked like you weren't even taking care of yourself. And I'm just saying, if you are with a man that is constantly making you feel like it doesn't matter how you look because he's not complimenting you, or it's making you so stressed and depressed that you can't, he's not the one. I know you want somebody, but to have somebody be in a relationship and still be lonely, it's not worth it. And quite frankly, it'll save you a lot of money. I'm not even here to judge you. And the reason why I said I hate to do this at the beginning was because I don't like to shame people for getting pregnant or anything like that. But like she said, I want to bring a child into some stability, and he doesn't have it. And he's not going to have it. And it just seems like Alexis, when you were having unprotected sex with him, as soon as he got out of jail, that was already irresponsible. He's irresponsible. Having a baby by him. I mean, and God bless the child. But this was a mistake. This was something that didn't have to happen, and you should have thought about all of this while you were having unprotected sex with him. All right, it already seems like you're kind of depressed anyway. I mean, you lost a lot of weight, according to you. I think you look good, but I also know what it is to be very, very heavy and to constantly have to work on your weight and the kind of things that can do to your self-esteem and image. And it just seems like I think you should really come out of it. He was there for you only and only because he was bored. All right. Moving on. Will and Courtney have got to be the dumbest people on this show. Now, the reason why I'm not going to even say ever on this show is because we all know that everybody that comes on here is dumb. And this competition is always too stiff. But right now, for this episode, they win the dumbest couple. All right, so he was too excited to say I do for somebody he didn't know except for over the phone. Alexis, Will, develop a support group. Get yourselves out of this. But then again, actually, no, Alexis is different. Will, you just dumb. All right, they are dumb and crazy, okay? She says I do. The mother handed her what I thought was the rings with an eye roll, an attitude, and absolute reluctance. And she was absolutely correct in that. Like, I can't believe this bullshit. You can tell Courtney has really stressed her mother out a lot. Like, a lot. Okay? Then I realized they're not rings. They are fucking scrunchies. Now, Will, all that rushing to get her dress with all them shops down the street, you couldn't stop in nowhere. And we all know wedding bands are like the cheapest thing you can get. In terms of the cost of things with a wedding bands really aren't that expensive. And y'all got fucking scrunchies. I want to smack the hell out of both of y'all. Anyway, and never mind. You know they came from jail. Did y'all watch those? No. Anyway, how is she the best thing that ever happened to you, Will? And y'all don't know each other. You are crazy. He play on the computers too long. That's what it is. He on the computers. He creating things in his head, in his mind, in the data. Something wrong. So they thanked the mom for being there or whatever. She said she was happy she could be there, but she really hoped she didn't miss her flight. Next thing we know, Will slipping and sliding all over, and then has the nerve to follow it up with, I've been in accidents where the car has flipped 6-7 times. Accidents, plural? And this is what you tell somebody while you behind the wheel? While they're worried about their flight? And then you and Courtney start talking about y'all's terrible experience with accidents? Do y'all really think that mother is already stressed? But see, both of y'all are not helping. You're not helping, and I don't like it. All right. So anyway, am I the only one that thinks Courtney looks and acts high and slow? Like, she may have been slow, but she also acts high. But both? Anyway, so they thanked the mom for being there or whatever. She said she was happy. She could be there. Like I told you, she didn't miss a flight, So now we know why Courtney has the scar. She was in a really bad accident, and I'm glad I did not say anything stupid in the previous weeks for that reason. All right. Apparently, her boyfriend left her on the side of the road after a really bad accident. Like, ran away. I guarantee you he was abusive. And I think that may have been the relationship she was alluding to when she talked about abusive relationships, because a man who abuses you does not give a fuck about you. And even after you have proven to him how loyal you are, how you haven't been cheating, even though they usually are, they'll do those kind of things. The mom brings up how after the accident, yeah, Courtney left me again. And Courtney apologizes to her mom and says, Mom, I'm really sorry for that. And her mom was like, thank you for apologizing to me. I think she had never heard it. Her mom is enduring a lot. Just on this one fucking trip. She don't even know Will. Anyway, it hurts any mother not to see their child and to be able to see and be with their child, whether they're in jail, whether they're far away, or in this case, it looks like it's going to be both. She is only 24. She just got out of jail. She's already in AA. Got married to a man her mother doesn't know, and she doesn't either. Courtney, you are an anxiety catalyst, and I think you just need to fucking get yourself together, and you continue to do dumb shit. So her mom was crying at the airport, and that kind of thing. They got married, right? Went back to the halfway house. She's saying how it sucks that she can't even spend her first night as a married woman with him. Bitch, you knew that when you decided to marry him in a day. What you mean it sucks? Like it's the people at the halfway house's fault. No, this is you and Will's poor decision. Anyway, 30 minutes later, he calls her from the hotel. And she was slurring her words and laughing hysterically. I said, oh, no. Look, Will, you don't have to have been on drugs to no drugs, so you ain't said nothing but a word in that hotel. I think she may be, relapsing. Yeah, he said and that may have been why she went through with that wedding. If we being honest, he said she never sounded like that in jail. Duh, she didn't have access to that stuff. Stupid. Like, what is going on? So he was like, we're gonna have to have some hard conversations after this. This is a hell of a wedding night, I have to say. I was like, but this is the point. We have to have some hard conversations. This is the thing. It's like the Joey and Michael dynamic. It's the Alexis and Julius dynamic. Y'all get somebody out of jail and then y'all have to fucking parent them. No, just stop doing it. So he goes and picks her up from the halfway house the next day. She got a lot of free time in that halfway house, I have to say, because he didn't take her to go. They didn't say, like, oh, we're going to look for a job. Anyway, he went to pick her up and brings up that she sounded bad last night. And she asked, well, how come you didn't say anything last night? Why are you bringing it up now? He says, well, I didn't want to ruin the night. Now, that is fair. Okay? She starts spazzing on him because he doesn't trust her. She was on something. Okay? And Will is saying he's going to choose to believe her. But if she, starts using again, their marriage is over. Y'all's marriage was over before it began with them fucking scrunchies, okay? And that's what you get for rushing into this, Will. Did her AA supporter pull her to the side and say anything to her? I mean, he was clapping at the wedding. It just looked like... Anyway, these people, Savannah and Bradley, y'all know I don't deal with them. Next, Michael and Joey, speaking of which... This made me kiki. So Michael passed his urine analysis test for the first time in his life. It's a milestone. Michael, that's a milestone. Okay. Michael really said from the gate he was not excited. To us in the confessionals, in the interview to the production crew, and to Joey in the car. He was not excited to meet Joey's family. He said he thinks his family is going to blame him for Joey's last relapse. They could. I mean, but drug addiction is drug addiction, right? So if he's doing drugs and Joey's hanging out with him, the only way to really heal is to understand how your influences, yes, have an effect on you, but also to operate in such a way that you are not around people that trigger that. That's not Michael's fault. Michael is who he is. Unfortunately, he's unapologetic about it. All right, so I would be nervous and anxious too, because I think he's scared of what they think. Yes, Michael, but I also think you're annoyed we're going to meet his family because you don't really like Joey. You don't like Joey anymore, and honestly, I'm at that point too. I find him fucking annoying, and he's just so stressful. He's full of stress. He projects stress. It's too much. So it's not like he feels like this is going anywhere. And that can aggravate the soul, okay? So to feel like now I have to go and be nice to these people. I don't even like y'all's son. So, like, I can't even force myself to say, yeah, I want to be with him. So I'm going to be nice to y'all. But nevertheless, his mom asked, what is he going to do differently to make sure he doesn't go back? He says he doesn't know. That's already telling, right? Because you came out the wrong mindset. The same thing with Julius. And I'm trying to get this rap stuff off. I don't want to do this rest of my life. Anyway, so they started telling him about, that's already telling. Let me tell you something. When Michael said he was okay with being in jail, even before this, I said that was just a strange statement to me. And it just seems like he's comfortable in jail because he has a roof over his head. He doesn't have to work. I'm sure he misses the drugs, but it also protects him from himself. And that's just a strange way to want to live your life. It really is. They started telling him about Joey's brush with death from his addiction, which I don't remember knowing about it in that kind of detail. They may have said that on Love During Lockup, but I don't remember. And his brother, Joey's brother, honestly hit the nail on the head. He said, I think Joey is ready for a long-term relationship, and Mike isn't. What we've all been saying. I think Joey wants a long-term relationship. I don't think he's ready for one. He doesn't know how to chill the fuck out. Anyway, and he's on a crash course back to jail. Um, and his brother was right about that too. So the family was polite enough. I didn't feel like they were rude. I can see why it was annoying, but they weren't rude. Joey said he expected Michael to lie a little better, and I was like, why would you expect that? Why would someone who has been convicted of crimes over and over again be expected to lie well? Clearly he doesn't. You know what I mean, Joey? Like, give me a break. He has not ever done well in court. He does not lie well. Okay? Joey's family is your family is much lower stakes than sitting in front of a judge who can determine how much time you'll have to be free and not free. Joey's family is asking Michael questions and making it all about not relapsing, and I can understand it. Don't get me wrong, I understand it. I'm not mad at them. But everybody was focusing the conversation on this. That's not fun. Okay? Like, where's the music? We eating outside. You know, like, do y'all ever stop? Did y'all ever stop and say, oh, yeah, this is good? Hey, did y'all see this on TV? You know, like, anything. Okay. So, he steps outside to smoke because Michael needs a break. I'm glad he needed a break because I needed one too from all of this. And he calls his friend Spencer. And he said, gosh, this dinner is making it so much worse for him. He said, it's like sitting with 5 Joeys. And the friend said, this is the part that I paused and listened to it again. I thought it was so funny. The friend said, oh, wow, are they boring or what? Like, are they boring too? Like, I was like, oh my gosh. He was like, no. And his, you know, his first assumption was they must be like really boring, like Joey. He was like, no, they're a recovery family. And so they're all preaching at me, this, that, and the other. That is what was happening now. His mom talks to Joey privately and she says, look, I don't want you to become a people pleaser like I did. She said, because I wasn't a people pleaser. But, you know, I met your dad, and when he got into his addictions with alcohol, she said, I made it all about him, about fixing him, and I forgot about me, and I just don't want you to do that. And this woman is still clearly married to this man. I'm sure they had children, a family, and she loved him. And it takes a lot for a woman to admit that out loud to her kids, because I'm sure she tried to always be strong for them. And the way people shame you often. Oh, why'd you say? Why'd you say? Why'd you say? There's a lot of reasons why people stay. Like women who leave and then their husband finds them and murders them when they've been abused. You know what I mean? Like, and that may not have been the case with them. But I'm just saying, I just hate that shaming mechanism. Why are you there? Because they can't leave yet. For whatever reason. Money, abuse, fear of retribution, fear of what somebody will do to them or their kids not having any place to go. You know, there's lots of reasons. But for a family full of recovery addicts, I have to say, these people have awfully nice homes. That didn't look like they had dealt with no addiction. I mean, usually, like, black people lose everything. So I just, okay. I mean, except for, like, you know, never mind, I'm not going to start. Kiana and Deonte. They are my problematic favorite couple, okay? Because they entertain me. All right, so they're in the car. I love how people get their licenses restored so quickly after being in jail, especially when teenagers come home crying because they didn't do their test perfectly. I just love how people who have been in jail can just get this magic. Anyway, so he said he feels bad that he's been talking to Joella behind her back. At the end of the day, Kiana doesn't like her. Maybe you feel bad because what you meant to say is you've been flirting with her. Yeah. So they go cake making and Kiana wants to talk about their trust issues and, you know, whatever. All right. She feels like she can't trust him. Baby, I know. You shouldn't trust him. And at what point in the $20,000 mark did you make that decision? Because you could have had a down payment on your house. There is a reason Why them older black women used to say, I can do bad all by myself. I don't need no help with it. Like, you don't need him for that. Okay? And please don't be Alexis. The same thing. Don't go get pregnant. Please. Please. It'll be another way to keep you in his narcissistic web. Anyway, so she feels like she can't trust him because he cheated on her. Good reason. All right. He was saying that he didn't respect anything back then, but they're getting older and don't have much time left. I said, but then I remembered in my 20s feeling like that. And every year thereafter. And it's such a terrible way to think. You just really have to be grateful for every day. So I really tried to reorient the way I look at life. Um, but I also think it was because I was still in that mindset. Like, if I don't hurry up and get married and have kids, I won't ever be able to, this, that, and the other. And it's just so many things that I had to figure out about myself that I would not have been able to really give to people or, a child, if I did not continue on this journey of like self-discovery, and so I can just kind of see through things like that. So he doesn't know if he's ready to marry her, but he knows things have to change. Yes, darling, you and your behavior. Okay, they go cake making, they make their cakes or whatever. They walk outside to look at the cakes they just made, like they weren't just beside each other looking at the same fucking cakes. It's not like they have knives or plates, or I didn't see it first. Apparently they have forks. I didn't see that till later. So he put that big cubic zirconium on the cake. This is their family ring. His big mama had it. And I was kind of like, how come your stepmama didn't have it? But I imagine that if Big Mama was still alive when they got married, that may be why. Anyway, he said he's going to make a promise to be with her forever and ain't get on their knee, right or the left, okay? Damn, it wasn't even like you paid for the ring. You mean to tell me you couldn't get on one fucking knee? And he was doing that stuff. The producer asked why he didn't say the words, will you marry me? And he said he sees this as a promise for the future. Haven't we heard this before? With that mixed girl and that black guy that was really nice and he was Muslim last season. Well, not last season, last chunk of a season. Well, no, it was last season because now we're in season 6. Okay. And he said, well, I see this as a promise for the future. And I don't want her to start planning for a wedding tomorrow. None of which he said to her, by the way. Okay? Do y'all see how men with narcissistic tendencies will half-ass their words and efforts to manipulate your feelings so they can keep supply? What the hell was she supposed to think? You giving your big mama's wedding ring to her. Granted, she didn't ask the right questions. She was like, are you sure you want to do this? But, I mean, what was she supposed to think? First of all, I ain't accepting no proposal from no man who can't get on one knee. Like, I mean, men really act like that's too much to do nowadays. Like, what is going on? Just that lack of sacrifice tells you everything you need to know. But she's young. Why wouldn't she think this? But please don't have no baby with him. And he's going to let her think whatever she wants to think because this will keep her around. And he's a homosexual. Okay, speaking of homosexuals, Brooklyn and Brian break up. Brooklyn, I need you to break up with him. Okay, because as long as he can use you, he will. So, I hate to see black women who have themselves together, Alexis, Brooklyn, lowering themselves for homosexuals and bastards who just need a place to parole to. I hate it. I hate it. It's been 2 months with an ankle monitor. Alani still calls Brian her bestie. He's a grown man. I don't ever remember having a grown man and saying he's a friend in my life. And my father was there. My mother was there. But still, I didn't have friends who didn't necessarily have a father living with them, but certainly fathers in their lives, like Alani seems to have, and calling her mom's boyfriend bestie. It just seems really inappropriate to me. So he's been helping her with her homework, and she thinks that has made her really smart, and she loves him. And that's very sweet of a kid. She loves him because her mom loves him. And she starts hating you today, Alani will hate you eventually. Now, Brian does not strike me as a person that can help with homework. That was the concerning part for me. Uh, like this little girl was smart. So what did you rob? TV. Anyway, so how the hell is Brian confined to the house but being asked to get a job? Y'all know how much work it takes to job hunt? I mean, it's a little different now with computers, but like, you can't want nothing for somebody they don't want for themselves. Now, you can do that up until the age of 18, but you can't really want that after. All right? And you're not his mother, but it's feeling like y'all have to parent these people. So, has he seen his own kids? When we gonna see them? Or is the mama too smart to let them on camera? All right? So Brooklyn asked to be introduced to Brian's friend that's gonna pick him up. I'm sorry, I didn't think that was an unreasonable request. Okay? She came outside and introduced herself, and Brian said, yeah, but nobody asked you to come outside though. Motherfucker, it's my house. This man pulls up. Okay, Brian, you are uncouth. You lack etiquette, because it was the same thing with her family last week. Why is it that when women ask for proper introductions and stuff, that he doesn't want to do them? Like, he just keeps acting like he's so above it. He's classless, Brooklyn. Please. Free yourself. All right? In the words of Fantasia. So when she asked him if he needed money or anything before he went out and reminded him of what time to be back, I said, this is like having a son instead of a partner. Like, these men act like children, and their partners end up playing this mother-father role. We see it in everybody's relationship. So this is beneath you, Brooklyn. Okay? Even though I think you make some bad decisions and you doing some bird stuff right now, you could do better. Okay? So Brian acts like one of those assholes that was sitting in school. They never wanted to do any work, had his hood over his face. Didn't ever even try to do anything. And didn't have an attitude with the teacher, talking shit, you know, never got himself together. He was one of them. I can already tell. He was one of those. All right? So his friend has an attitude. Okay? A real bitch made attitude, if you ask me. And was hostile toward her on her property, pulling up into her home. The least you could do is say hello. So, she starts saying, well, here are my rules. He was like, rules? He needs to be back by this time. Nope, no. The first thing she said was no bitches. This, that, and the other. Brooklyn, girl, if you got to worry about that with a damn ankle monitor, this motherfucker has already shown you multiple ways that he'll disrespect you. But I really need you to respect yourself enough to get them motherfucking locks changed and call the police when he shows. Okay? Fuck him at this point. All right. But Brian is letting his friend disrespect her, like, you know, probably because he's been talking shit about her to him. He's talking about how she's a warden in her driveway at her house, and then ask Brian, why is he putting up with it? Then let that motherfucker live with you. These people kill me with that. His friend is acting like one of those bitch boys who sits around and is jealous of women because he's down low. Yep. We've seen this. I've seen this type. All right. He is trying to convince Brian while he's in the store trying to find something to wear. This is a grown man who just wore his first suit like 2 months ago. Where have you been all your life? Did you ever graduate from anything? Were you ever at prom? Who's raising y'all? Anyway, he is trying to, you know, talk to Brian about you in the BBL era and you missed a lot. People who try to overdo their masculinity like this are always the corniest, lamest jokers you can find. So he was asking a bunch of questions like, what's life like at her house? Are these rules about time? Is this her rule or their rules? He was like, no, she probably wish it was her rule, but it's, it's the PO. He was asking like, why do you have a debit card, man? You need to get on the credit wave. First of all, you could already tell he was a dumb, stupid motherfucker, and that's a nice word compared to what I was thinking about calling him. Bitch, what? Anything you can pay for in cash, pay for it. Credit cards are to be used for emergencies, and as far as I'm concerned, and things that you like really, really need in a tight space that you can't afford immediately and then pay off. Getting caught up in a credit card is stupid. Especially with somebody who don't have a job. But he probably one of them motherfuckers living with a woman too. Alright, anyway. Living with a woman whose house and home she pays the bills for. Yeah, but he's one of those corny assholes who picks women with low self-esteem to cover up who he is as a man. He's too hostile to a woman he's never met. He's trying to discourage him from having a baby and being with her. And honestly, I would take it differently if the advice was presented differently, but you presented yourself as an asshole throughout the whole time. Like you wanted to disrespect it. That's what I mean by that down low shit. He said, man, they call me Mr. Bitches. You like men. That's some whack ass shit to let come out your mouth. It is. And then after you making a big deal about just go see some BBLs, some fake ass and titties, that shit sounded so corny. Cause you actually want to go see that? And then after talking all of that stuff, don't forget I'm from Atlanta. You take him to a strip club. All that stuff you was talking, you took him to a strip club at a strip mall. You know they're the kind of people who microwave frozen chicken wings and bring them out to you. Ain't no way in hell. Okay, I hate to do that. I'm from Atlanta, but like, and I've never even been inside a strip club, but I knew plenty of people that went and hung out there. And those kind of things are like very expensive places to be. And he's the kind of person to go in there, don't tip nobody. Nope, I'm done. But that's all I got to say about Love After Lockup. I'll probably talk to y'all later, catch y'all up on some life stuff. But anyway, I hope y'all have a great Saturday. There's nice weather in New York, even though I'm going to be stuck inside writing reports. But I hope y'all are having a good spring, and I'll see y'all soon.